Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Shaun here for the Natural Gamers, and today I want to talk about some of the Asura's Wrath DLC. A few episodes back we talked about the game itself, so go check out that review if you haven't. I'll put a link in the description. But for those of you who have played the game and have seen our other review, you know that we enjoyed it. We thought it was pretty good. Something different, I guess, in the whole gaming world. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool. So I was very, very interested in the DLC. Before we talk about the actual content of the DLC itself, let's just get out of the way the whole this DLC conversation about, like, is doing something like this right? You know, is it okay? Because this is part 4. This is like the end of the game, really, and they're charging you after the fact, you know, for the actual ending, the true ending, because it really is the true ending of the game. Make no buts about that. It is. Thematically and narratively, like, it ties up all the loose ends. It connects perfectly well with the game. It's not a separate piece. It's not a extra thing. It is the end of the game. This is not a practice that it's not something like, if I could say, like, I guess I'm not really in any great position or anything, but it's not something I approve of. I think it's pretty weak, to be honest, and Capcom, unfortunately, has a history of kind of pulling this kind of shit on a pretty regular basis, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, I kind of justified it to myself by saying, well, I bought it used. I got it for a pretty decent price. I think I got it for about like 40 bucks when I picked it up, because this game didn't sell all that well, so you're probably going to see the price drop on, like, the game proper itself, like, pretty quickly. So I ended up buying the game used, and altogether, all the DLC I've bought for it has been about $11 total. The DLC is actually not that, like, it's not crazy overpriced or anything. That's pretty surprising. I was really kind of, like, surprised. Especially for part 4. Part 4 is $6.99, about, like, in that. Yeah, no, it is exactly $6.99. So yeah, let's just talk about it. Let's just there's 2, like, small DLCs that they kind of, like, released before that were kind of like 11.5 and 15.5, and those are kind of like, you just kind of flesh out the main game, kind of give you a little bit of extra information and stuff like that. They are worth it. They're $1.99 a piece, and they're worth it. They're worth it because they actually give you information that pertains to part 4, the larger DLC, the end of the game. And it's not necessary or anything like that, not at all. That stuff really is extra. Like, that's kind of DLC proper. Like, you know, what they tell you DLC should be. It should be something like that. But part 4 is something. It's like a whole nother chapter. It's the last chapter of the game. It's about an hour and a half, give or take a little bit of actual gameplay, and it's more of the same, really. It starts off immediately after the game itself, the game proper ends. There's no, like, in between time. There's nothing like that. Like, if this had been in the game, it would have been. It would have made a lot of sense, you know. It's literally the second the game stops, this game picks up, or this DLC picks up, rather. And it's pretty awesome, actually. Overall, I thought it was really, really good. Totally worth the $7 for me. Like, because I just really enjoyed the story and, like, kind of the gameplay, the game mechanics and stuff like that. None of that stuff really, like, bothered me. Like, some people have a problem with the quick time event type games and stuff. Blah blah blah. I don't really. And for me, it was totally worth it. It was totally awesome. I was a little worried, though, when it first started, because the first episode is, like, it's really not slow. Slow is not the right word. It's like it's really nothing new at all. Like, you're even fighting, like, kind of the similar, like, recycled enemies that you fought in for the past, like, 12 hours in the game proper. And like, I was like, I don't know, like, this might be not really worth it. But I'm happy to report, though, that is just the first episode of the new episodes, from episode 19 to 22. Just the first episode, and there's actually kind of a logical reason for it to be that way, and that's to kind of reintroduce you to the game and how to play the game. Because you know, this game came out in February, and even if you'd only played it like a month ago, like, you might have, like, you might be a little rusty or whatever coming back into it if you're not gonna just, like, play through the game again with this new DLC or whatever. So it kind of slowly reintroduces you, like, actually how to play the game. So that was good for me, because it's been, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and I'd kind of, like, just forgotten about it, and until last night I saw it on my like kind of like scrolling bar that the Asura's Wrath DLC was available now. I was like, oh shit, that's right, I should probably get that. So I got it this morning, and I played through it. Just got done like probably about an hour ago, and it's pretty awesome. And it does the same thing. Like, if you thought all the stuff that was like epic and badass in the regular game, this just amplifies it, and it does it in a very natural way. Like, I have to give this game credit. It does that. It one-ups itself all the time without ever making you feel like, oh look, they're trying to one-up themselves. It's very like organic and natural. And the story itself it's a very satisfying ending. This is not some like sort of like bullshit fucking whatever loose ending, or no, it's a very direct like closing of the game. And it's awesome. Like, the last episode is awesome. It's one of the coolest things I've ever like interacted with in a video game. It's really, really cool. But as like a final thought though, just to kind of wrap this up, I don't want this to be too long, is that if you liked Asura's Wrath and you want to see how the story ends, how it really ends, it's totally worth it. It's worth every penny. Like, you won't be disappointed. Like, people that aren't into Asura's Wrath or didn't like the game, this DLC is going to do nothing to change your mind, so you might as well just skip it, because you probably traded the game in anyways, so thank you, because that's how I got it. So, but, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's totally worth it to me. Like, the short, like, mini episodes, the 11.5 and 15.5, you can take them or leave them. Like, they're not necessary. They're not necessary to understand anything. It's just, like, if you just want more Asura's Wrath, I would say go for it. I mean, it's got some beautiful animation. It's pretty cool. Like, I would have almost liked it if the whole game looked like that, too, sometimes. Like, well, I mean, it might have got a little old, I guess. But, just those, because they're really short, like 10 minutes apiece, and, like, and they're really cool. They're a lot of fun. They're visually very pleasing. But other than that, like, they're not necessary. But yeah, I say totally pick it up. That is a definite recommend if you are a fan of this game. Yes. All right, everybody. I'm Shaun, and I'm a natural gamer, and I will talk to you next time I have something to talk about. Wrath.